All right, welcome back to my channel. I am Lamborghini C, and I am here with another Let's Talk Live interview for you guys. So today we're interviewing an entrepreneur out of my favorite city, Miami. And so I'm so excited to talk about this. I wish we could swap weather, today, but I am being
It is
joined
it
by
is pretty weather. I'm not gonna lie to you. It is pretty weather today.
Oh, just rub it in. Oh my goodness. But yes, I'm joined here by Marie Angelica. And I met, we kind of met each other, what, like a month or so ago, right?
Yes, we
In
did.
one of
It
the
was about a month
networking
ago.
groups that I'm a part of. And, sometimes you meet with people and you just have that like spark, that connection. And, I was like, she's someone I'm going to keep in touch with. And I definitely want to have you on the platform. So I'm glad we were able to make that happen.
We make it happen. That's what we do as business owners, right? We just make it happen. We fix it or we make it happen.
Yeah, so thank you for joining me. I think this is going to be so insightful for the folks watching. I really love these segments because, I will get emails even from people saying, "Oh, I love this," or like I learned so much from watching these, because I realize that again, it takes a lot of guts to become an entrepreneur. It's not for the faint at heart. And so I love, when we're able to have folks on that can talk about their journey, the lessons learned, and even maybe give some advice to us. And, as we continue to navigate those waters. So, first, I want to ask you to kind of like share with us what it is that you do.
Well, first of all, I have to say thank you so much for inviting me. This is like being invited to someone's home, and you're,
Yeah.
definitely an incredible hostess. So thank you for that. Um,
Yes.
so what is it that I do? So, you know, I've been in sales for 25 years, and it is one of those things that you start out and it's very scary in the beginning. And so you start out in sales, and then you get introduced to this world of business development, and that is where it's strategy, it's accountability, it's focus. It's not just regular sales. There's got to be a focus and a strategy and an executable plan for it, and that's what I started doing 20 years ago in my career. I started doing business development, and I
Oh,
realized that along the way I picked up some tips and tricks that nobody teaches you. So when I decided
oh,
to launch my company, I'm like, I'll be teaching those tips and tricks that have taken 20 plus years for me to learn and collect and put together like a roadmap for people that want to take their sales strategies to the next level and really focus in on business development. So I'm a business development strategist. People hire me. I help them put them that together. I also coach people when it comes to, elevating their pitch game. How do you sell? How do you speak about yourself? How do you express the purpose in as little words as possible? And that's what I do.
Okay. All right. Awesome. I think that is great. So, can you talk a little bit more about like where you came from, like where you've been spending? I think you said you had 20 years or so of experience and, just learnings that you picked up along the way. So, what were you doing before this?
It's funny, my first job was at a record store. That tells you how old I am. I was at a,
Oh,
yeah, high
now were
school.
you
I
in
wanted
sales there?
I was in sales. Yeah, I always loved
Okay.
music. So I
Okay.
went and I got a job for summer at a record store at my local mall. And that was when I got bitten by the bug for sales. I liked connecting with
Wow.
people and I was a teenager. And
Okay.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, and then in college, I decided I wanted to work in retail because it was something that allowed me to have flexibility to go to school full time and actually work full time. So I worked at high-end luxury because this is where I said, if I'm going to be somewhere, I want to learn something. So I went to work for Louis Vuitton, and that was like for
Okay.
2 years. Yeah, I worked at
Nice.
Louis Vuitton. That was in my early to like 19, 20, 21,
Okay.
22, and I absolutely loved it. It's this different world that I had never, you grow up below income. Like my parents are immigrants from Nicaragua. We moved to South Florida.
Mhm.
So this was like my big time learning how to deal with people of means, polishing yourself, speaking,
Yeah.
to them properly. And
Yeah.
then I also worked at a high-end jewelry store for a while because I wanted to work retail.
Yeah.
So that was where I started my sales career.
Okay. No, that's very good. And high end, you focused on high end right off the bat, which I'm sure, like you mentioned, like requires a different skill set and a different level. I think that so many people, again, entrepreneurs, regardless of what industry or area they're in, um, have an appreciation for sales because, again, as an entrepreneur, I think, one of the biggest learnings for me was that I'm a salesperson, even though I didn't sign up for it. But if I want to make money and if I want my business to grow, like I am the salesperson, and you have to do it until you get to a point where maybe you're able to expand and hire out a team that then handles that. But when you're just getting started, you're it. And so I know you're working with entrepreneurs like myself that, again, we're growing our businesses, we're grinding it out, wearing all hats, and you're having to come in and like really help us fine tune those skills. Do you have, when you think about the clientele that you work with, do you have maybe a favorite like success story or a success story that really like sticks out to you?
I do. I do. So right now I have a client that she has been in business for 15 years. And
Okay.
I met her networking, and she's the business owner, and she's like, okay, I really want to talk to you about doing this. And I said, okay, well, how serious, how mean do you want me to get with you? And she's like, please be brutal. I'm like, okay. So we got her on this map, I put her on these things, and we had our call today because we talk once a week and we talk about the homework assignment I'm giving her and what she's done the previous week. And now she's like, I've gotten 4 new quotes that I had to do. I listen, I hear you in my ear, like about asking for things. I gave her talking points that she needed to do. And I gave her a challenge that I want her to do 2 presentations booked by the end of Q1 because I want her out there public speaking to get her brand out
Okay.
there, to develop her following. And she got them. She's doing now a
Okay.
presentation for a law firm, and she got
Okay.
requested to do a podcast. And so,
Oh,
and she's,
that's
yes, yes. So she's like, you're really pushing me out there to do these things. And I said, yes. And she goes, and now as I'm meeting new people, networking, and, she's expanding her reach for her business, I have you in my ear telling me talking points, my
yeah.
asks, what's my closing. And I gave her those three guidelines every time you meet somebody. Talking points, your ask,
Good.
what are you closing on? So
Okay. I think that
she's
is
gotten well.
awesome. And how long were you working with her before she started to see some success?
Actually, we're on month 2. So she's already seen
Oh,
success in
wow.
2 months. Yeah.
That is awesome. That's a true testament to you and to, the work that you do and your style. I think that's really great. However, I can't imagine you being mean to anyone, but,
Oh,
you know,
you can ask her. I'll introduce you to her. She's always like this, like, oh my God, what are you going to make me do? And I tell her, we're going to work out those muscles. This is a muscle memory that I need you to have, you know?
no, that's great. No, I think, again, like we all can benefit from coaches in different areas in our life. And we need somebody that can talk straight to us, right? Because, again, sometimes it cannot feel as good to have someone tell you you're not doing something good or that you can do something better or you need to improve. But again, just think of it this way. If no one ever tells you, you could go through life thinking you're knocking things out of the park only to find out maybe you've been operating at like a mediocre level. So, like it's so important to have someone with a different lens and vantage point and an expertise, like your case, that can come in and say, hey, like you can improve on this area, right? And to help you do
Yeah.
those things. Well, I think that is awesome, awesome. And
I'm very
so,
excited. I'm very excited because she was very hesitant And now that I'm like, the proof is in the pudding. You know, like that saying goes, the proof is in the pudding, and she's seeing the ROI.
That's good. That is great. Now, for you personally, as you think back over, and again, even back when you were, still in the workforce too, you can pull an example from there. But what would you say probably was your hardest sell and why?
The hardest sale I ever had was, um, so I was working for a fractional CFO firm, and I wanted this construction company. And construction companies have different requirements for their bookkeeping, and all that. Um,
Mm,
and I will never forget that my superior at the time wanted this particular CFO to go in and work on this project. I wanted another CFO to work on the project, but I got overridden. So we're presenting it. And I'll never forget, I got an email from the business owner at 5:30 in the morning telling me, I don't have time to teach this person. Like, if this is the best candidate you have to introduce me to, Maria Angelica, thank you so much, but it's not going to work or whatever. But the impactful thing was the time that he sent me that email. It was 5:30 in the morning. I am so sorry. My
that's
dog is
okay.
going here. Give me
That's
one
okay.
second. Of course, she finds something outside to bark at.
Oh, no,
So
that's okay.
it
Typically, when I'm
showed,
doing these, you'll see my little one come walking around. She has to make her entrance, too, so that's okay.
yeah. So that was the toughest sale because I had to send an email immediately. I had woken up at 6:30 in the morning that day because I usually try and get up between 6 and 6:30, and I check email, but I don't really, I set my replies, even though I'm answering emails that early, I set them to, I schedule them to send out at 8 o'clock in the morning because people see crazy emails coming in that early. But for
Yeah.
him, I replied in real time. And I said to him, I'm so sorry that that happened. I would want to, can I get another bite at the apple and I'll do better? You know, I took that as feedback, and then I shared that email. We ended up getting that with the second consultant, which is the one I had originally wanted. So again, it
Okay.
goes back to listening to the client,
Hmm.
understanding where the ball was dropped. No one needs to add blame. Like, I didn't have to tell him it wasn't me, it was my ball. I didn't have to say any of that. It was, you know what? Give me another chance at the bite of the apple. I'll bring someone better. And we ended up, like I said, I was able to get this person out of another project. I wanted him to meet you. And then we ended up getting the case after all, getting the client for a while.
Okay. All right.
So that
Very
was
good.
tough.
Well, that's good. And so
Yeah.
I'm curious, like, as you transition from working for someone into entrepreneurship, what do you think are like a couple of the biggest surprises that you had during that journey?
They say it's lonely at the top, and it's true because there's people in your lives that they're not in the same journey as you. So you can't really go to them for those moments that you want to get clarity on. So then you really have to find a new tribe, and finding the new tribe that you can tell them, I'm scared about this. And the fear of failure is real, and you're like, you have those moments of doubt, like, am I really doing this right? Is this the right timing? Is this the right opportunity? Do I have the right skill set? All this doubt. It's the doubt that creeps in the middle of the night that is really scary for an entrepreneur, I think.
Yeah.
And
And
I
we had a
faced
little
that.
bit of an interruption with the internet. So I think we may
Oh,
have missed the first part of that. What was the lesson? Can you recapture that?
the lesson is getting together your tribe, finding the new people that you're able to really go to when you're having those doubtful moments that make you question, are you doing this right? Do you have the gumption? Do you have the skill set?
Okay. No, I can
You
definitely
know,
see that because also I think, again, as you're coming from the workforce and entering into entrepreneurship, it can be hard because again, like your friends, from your job or, even your family, they're not going to understand what you're doing necessarily. right? And
No.
so, yeah, I think you do have to, focus on finding your tribe.
A new
Absolutely.
tribe, a new
Absolutely.
tribe, because you could have a great tribe, but they're not in your world. They're
Mm,
either employees or retirees. They're not, or their business is further down the road than you.
yes. Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious too, because like I said, you're in one of my favorite cities with all the beautiful weather. How do you make sure that you stay on track and don't get distracted? Because Miami can be something else. It can be, there's so much to get into, and, you know, so much excitement, whether day or night. So, how do you keep on top of things?
I'm goal oriented. I am so goal oriented, and I have to track my progress. I attach everything to a metrics. I am a KPI girl. How many calls am I making? How many reach outs am I doing? What are my goals in the beginning of the quarter? And I stick to that. I am someone that I am competitive with myself. And if I can do better, I'll do better. And I need to learn something, I'll learn something. Um, and that's what I think you have to always. I learned how to learn, and that's my trick. That's my secret sauce. I learned how to learn. So I learned from a professional like yourself, that you've got a podcast and you're venturing into this, and yet you have this really great successful business, and that's your focus. And so I learned how
Yeah.
you're using these elements to elevate your brand and your company, and how they intertwine well. And that's like something I learned from people, not because you're teaching me, but because I'm observing you.
Yeah, definitely. I think I want to, kind of now maybe take it back to, again, your work with clients, because I'm curious, when you first start working with people, um, what's one of the things that you think they're most surprised about, or one of the learnings that is such a shock to them after they engage with you?
That how they are able to get easier for them to pitch without pitching. Like when they're like my friend, like my client, that now she's a good friend of mine, that she's now
Hmm.
adapting and using the methodology, and now it's coming becoming second nature to her. That's where they're like, now I get it, now it clicks.
Okay.
you know, because those are the fundamentals. That's your door opener. That's how you're able to connect with people. That's how you're able to um, bring a spotlight on your business and on yourself. So when that begins to click with them, that's the best part
Hmm.
about it, because that's the foundation for everything.
Yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. And so, again, we know in business we're going to come up with obstacles that we have to overcome. What piece of advice would you, offer to anyone that may be thinking about going down this path and venturing into entrepreneurship?
Build your well before you need it. And what do I mean by that? I mean, start networking. Get out there into the
Okay.
community and start researching company or networking organizations that can help you expand your reach. Go to YouTube
Hmm.
and figure out marketing, figuring out messaging. Um, do this before you do the jump. Do like a soft opening for your company in a way, you know, and and connect with other business owners.
Okay. No, I think that's very good advice. Now, I was going to ask you, because I know we met through networking. And it's interesting because um, I saw a clip from a younger entrepreneur the other day. It happens to be in Miami. And he was saying that he didn't think that folks should focus on networking, like just starting out. How important do you think networking is, though?
I think it's crucial. You need to learn how to message. If you don't know how to connect with the person in front of
Yeah.
you, your business is dead in the water. How do you tell people what you do? Like, how are you going to articulate that? That becomes
Yeah.
a second nature thing. And unless you're out there practicing it, you will fumble with your words unless you're already, if you haven't been doing it in front of people. You can practice it in front of a mirror. You can think that recording it is going to be helpful, but when you are in front of someone and you need to articulate that, if you don't have the confidence in what you're saying, you're going to forget it in that moment. So that's why the networking is so important. You need to get out there and develop also other
Mm-hmm.
professionals that can help you, because you and I are a perfect example. I'm out there looking for business that could benefit you, and you're out there doing the same for me, and we're doing that through the podcast as well, because we're creating content that's going to help
Yeah.
both of us show people our way of being. And so if you don't have that confidence, it's going to take you longer. It's going to be like you're going to have a rockier road than you could, than you had you prepared a little more.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I think that again, you have a wealth of knowledge. Everything that you shared, I think, can be lessons for people that are watching. But if somebody wants to get in touch with you, or if they want to just hear more from you, where can they find you? Like, where can we find you on social media? And how do they get in touch with you if they're interested in learning more about your services?
Definitely LinkedIn. I am a very much active on LinkedIn. So the cool thing, what my
Okay.
mom did to me is that she gave me a unique name as long as you spell it right. So you put that name in
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn and I'll be one of the few that pops up. But the second is my website, luminarycatalyst.com. It is right there. You can sign up. You can put in there, contact us, and and it'll come straight to my email inbox. So, and of course, let's connect on LinkedIn. I am a huge LinkedIn person.
Okay, awesome, awesome. Well, again, thank you for joining me. I'm so glad that we got to do this and connect. And I'm definitely going to connect with you next time I'm in Miami. I can't wait for
Calm
that.
down.
But
Yes.
I think this has been great. I think this has been awesome.
Well, thank you again for having me, Clinetta. I so appreciate you. We met, we connected, we had a one-to-one, and look at us now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like likewise, for real. All right. Well, thank you so much. Bye.
Take care.
Oops.